Hello, Donna Happy Place. Here we go, another art session. Thank you very much everyone who tried last week. It was really interesting to see how you were working with materials in a slightly different way. This week we're using cling film and watercolor to create some foliage effect. It is very simple but very effective technique. The only ingredient you need apart from your art materials is patience. Because the work needs to dry in natural way, so you normally have to wait a good few hours. I would recommend just leaving it overnight and then picking up next day, and then it's ready to go for the next stage. I will give you suggestions how you can go about it. You can create, use the needle to actually color, but you may also leave that blank and use that for writing or drawing or whatever you decide. But have fun. It is quite effective technique, and I think you will really enjoy it. Bye bye. Okay, let's start this class. First, I want to show you what you need to have prepared, because the actual activity involves very quick action of putting cling film into wet paint. So you need to have certain things prepared to be able to do it quickly. First, the cling film. Just need pieces of it, so different sizes. Just put them on side, so when it comes to putting that on paint, you're not trying to get it done, cut it into pieces. You just grab each piece and you have it. So I would say one piece is one part of the foliage we're going to be playing with. So I think I need 3, 6, probably around 5. That's the boring part. Okay. The second is you need your water being ready, because you'll be working wet on wet, and you need your paints. And make sure you know which paint you're using so you can quickly go for the paint you need. If you're working with dry watercolor paints, just get a little bit water into them before you start, so you know you're grabbing wet paint straight away. So that's how you are starting. And the whole point is to create, I'll be working around the edges, create shapes that are resembling foliage, leaves, maybe some plants. You may decide you want something that looks more realistic, or maybe something that's just gonna appear from the watercolor. Anyway you choose to do it, it will work. Okay, so let me just make sure I have paint ready, and use as many greens as you have. So first you're going with plenty of water, just water into the area you want to work on, like a foliage. So I'm just shaping it kind of, you know, resembling soft shapes of leaves. Even more water. Now I'm gonna go with green, so plenty of paint into that water, so it needs to be wet. Now apply different shades of your colors. If you work with green, of course, then different greens. So it needs to be moving on your, to the darker here. Okay, and now I'm going with the piece of cling film, and look what happens, and just form the kind of crinkles, you know, the lines there. Okay, that's my first one done. Never redo it, leave it as it is, and it needs to dry in a natural way, so don't speed it up with a heat gun, because you're going to destroy the pattern. So let's just gently move to, I want to create it around the edges, but because I don't want to really disturb this part, and do one from this corner now. So the same thing, my water is already a bit green, but that's fine because I am working with green. spiky this time. Okay, let me pick up different green this time. Try not to move it too much, but it's moving. You need quite lots of paint because cling film is going to lift it from the paper. I'm just adding water now here. I decided I didn't have enough water. Okay, let's go with the cling film. That's why you need those cling film bits being ready. And I'm going to use another piece here. Okay, brilliant. And another part. Bit down here. So maybe I'll go a bit shorter kind of leaves now. Very dark green. But remember, watercolor dries lighter, so don't be afraid of dark colors. A bit of lighter green on top. And the cling film. Okay, I'm going to carry on so I have edges fully done, and I will leave that to dry naturally. So I'll bring it back when it's dry, but the cling film is still on, so you can see how it works, and then we'll work in the middle part. Okay, I'm back, and this is dry now, so I want to show you what it looks like. I don't know how much you'll be able to see in the camera, but I will film from quite close later anyway when I move my camera. So what you're doing, and like I said, you need to make sure it's fully dry and dry naturally. Just taking off, it's very easy. It's not really sticky. Oh, I like it. Oh, I'm liking it already. So I just dispense that. Okay, so wow, I like it. So a bit closer, but I will film it. Look at those patterns. You know, this one, for example, looks very much like a real foliage, real leaf. But I haven't done anything. I haven't even, you know, when I was painting it, you could see my I didn't really do much in terms of shapes of leaves. Right, so what do we do now? So what I was thinking, if you decide to do it on A4 or A3 format, you can leave this space white and right here, for example, draw here, or you can list things you're grateful for, or ask members of your family, or just write draw here, and if you have any children in the house, they may to do drawings. So you may want to leave this blank. That's one option. Another option is to color that in contrasting color, so you get this kind of contrast with the foliage around. So feel free to use that for writing, drawing, listing, or collaborative work. And I'm just gonna add dark blue and purplish, both colors together here, mix them for a bit like a night garden. scene. Another option as well, let me just show you before I do that, is to add some drawing elements of leaves. Don't have to be very precise. It's just about giving it a bit of the kind of, you know, floral feel. So you may want to do that if you want. That's optional. So let me just go with the background, and I'm going to work wet on wet, which means plenty of water and then paint. And I want to blend two colors, which is blue and purple, for a night kind of sky. So you have to be quite careful that you don't go too much into the edges of green, because it will activate the watercolor a bit again. And I'm going to be starting from the middle, so it's safe. My purple. This paper is a bit wobbly because it dried next to the radiator, so I need to be quite careful with how it moves. And some blue. So that's your wet on wet watercolor blending. And here in the middle, I'm even going with a bit of black, because I know when it dries, it's much lighter and it will mix with purple and blue. So I'm just drying this paint, so it gets lighter towards the edges. Hopefully you won't get that wobbly kind of paper like mine. So here I'm just going at the towards the edges with a very light wash. Okay, just wanted to show you the finished piece. For me it was like a night kind of scene or view from the sky, but you do whatever you want, you don't have to do this part. Let's just look at the foliage closer. How amazing those patterns are. I love this one here. Different greens, they give you different effects. I like this part here as well. Look at that. Okay, so have fun.